My dear viewers, welcome back. I know it's been so long since I posted my last video. I needed a break because I had some hard moments, hard time of my life. Okay, let's keep it aside. Now it is time to cherish one thing. Yes, I managed to clear the CCNA exam last night. In this video, I'm not going to reveal any secrets about the exam. It is not a spoiler. I'm just going to share my experiences and my learnings from the exam. CCNA is preferred by wide range of employers. It is one of the standard exams and recognized certifications that you earn, particularly when you are at the entry level of your networking career. Most of the companies prefer CCNA. Okay, let me share my experience. Due to the COVID situation, Cisco allowed its test takers to take the exam online, which means if you have reliable internet connection, you can take this examination from anywhere. And I just took it from my house. In exam, total mark is 1000. There were 104 questions, and few questions were not subjected to the mark. Out of 1000, you need to earn 82.5 percentage to pass the exam, which means you need to earn above 825 marks. Here they mentioned the duration is 120 minutes, but during the exam I had 150 minutes. I don't know why. Might be because of I am from the non-English speaking country. And unlike the old CCNA exam, in current CCNA there are no simulations. Only question and answer type exam. One answer, multiple choice, multiple answers, drag and drop questions. These are the questions I was asked. And of course, it is available in two languages. Let's scroll the exam topics. There were total number of 6 sections. In new CCNA, they made some significant changes. They brought automation in the exam syllabus, and we will get 10% of questions from the topic. CCNA is an easy exam if you know the fundamentals. If you are strong in fundamentals, then you can easily crack this exam. Some of the questions were straightforward and most of the questions were tricky. Easy indeed, but it was tricky. Let me go through the syllabus topics and share my experience. In network fundamentals, I had 20% of questions. I remember I got questions related to this network devices, firewalls, access points, what is the purpose of access point, and what controllers does. Make sure you know about the difference between the traditional network and controller based networks. And I got questions from the network topology architectures. Make sure the spine and leaf properties, the WAN technologies, the 2-tier, 3-tier architecture properties. In the topic physical interface and cabling types, make sure you know about the Ethernet cablings, single mode, multi-mode, fiber cablings and its connectors, and of course the power over Ethernet cables, how the power is distributed to the power devices from the power supply equipment, and try to learn what happens if the power device draws more power from the power supply unit. These are some of the key topics that you need to know. And the next topic is interface errors. When the frame is passing through the cable, obviously there were some losses and also some errors. I couldn't demonstrate those errors in my earlier CCNA videos because I was not able to produce such environments in the packet tracer network. If you have real labs with real routers and switches in your house, you can create such scenarios and you can learn about the interface errors, various errors. And the TCP UDP comparison, the questions were like drag and drop. Make sure what is the properties of UDP and what is the properties of TCP, and some standard important protocols that belongs to TCP and UDP. Make sure which protocol is using TCP and which protocol is using UDP. You have to know that. And another important topic, configure and verify the IP before addressing and subnetting. It was not straightforward question. Interestingly, it combined with another topic and asked like a hybrid question. For example, they will give a topology, a network diagram, and the device configuration, the routing table, for example. By seeing the routing table, you have to select which route will be chosen to reach the particular destination. So in order to decide that, you also have to know the subnet calculation, also the basic routing concepts. You should have the ability to read the routing table. By seeing the routing table, you should identify which route will be chosen based on the longest prefix and administrative distance and the metric values. The new CCNA didn't contain EIGRP in its syllabus, but you should know its administrative distance. Just prepare the EIGRP concept slightly for CCNA. Though you didn't, though you don't have EIGRP in CCNA, you will be getting EIGRP in your CCNP Encore exam. And IPv6 topic is really important because they gave few questions from this topic, because IPv6 is the future. You need to know what this each term means, what kind of address it uses, and the next thing, the IP parameters of each operating systems. When you see the IP configuration in one operating system, you have to know, you have to differentiate what is the MAC address, what is the IP address, what is the subnet mask, what is the gateway. You have to discriminate, you have to find those each parameters. Ensure you are strong in that concept. And the wireless technology. Learn about the two different bands, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, and which band uses the non-overlapping channels and which band is in risk of overlapping channels. Just know it. And if you get an opportunity to see the WLC GUI, make sure what are all the options that we have while configuring an SSID and managing access points from the WLC in wireless technology. CCNA not discussing the Wi-Fi 6 in depth. It is not deeply discussing about the 802.11 AX. However, you will get the questions from the Wi-Fi 6 in CCNP Encore examination. And just know about the virtualization, what virtual machines do, what kind of resources virtualized by the VMs. And the switching concept, it's a basic one. While the frame is entering into the layer 2 switch, what happens, what kind of changes happening in its CAM table, MAC address table, how MAC address tables read the hardware addresses from the frame. Just know about that. And of course, in which condition the switch floods the frame through its interfaces. Just know about that. And the next is the network access. And the network access contains 20% of CCNA questions. Know the default VLAN, access ports, and the connectivity. What happens when there is a native VLAN mismatch? Just know about that. I already made videos about the layer 2 connectivity. You can also refer those videos. Make sure you know about the discovery protocols. There were two protocols, CDP, LDP. Just try to know the difference between them. And the STP concept is very important. They will give the layer 2 switch topology and they ask which switch will be acting as a root bridge and which port is a root port in each switch and designated port. Those questions you will get. And know about the purpose of port fast command, BPDU commands. And let's discuss the IP connectivity. I told earlier, you will get some hybrid questions which is combined with multiple concepts like subnetting and the the routing concepts. By giving a routing table, they will ask which route will be chosen. So to answer those questions, you need to know both subnetting as well as routing. So make sure you know the routing prefix, network mask, next stop, administrative distance, metrics, all those parameters, and just get to know what is the preference while choosing the route. The first preference is longest prefix will be matched, and the second preference is administrative distance, and the third is metric value. And yeah, just know that, and know about the default route, network route, host route, and the floating route. In the floating route, the administrative distance will be configured manually other than one. And I got few questions from another important topic, OSPF. In OSPF, they will give the OSPF interface configuration, for example, and by comparing those two configurations, you have to say what is the issue in those configurations and why the OSPF neighborship has not formed. I'm just giving an example. Just make sure what are all the parameters to be matched in order to establish the OSPF neighborship, and try to know when there is a P2P link is used instead of Ethernet links, what will happen in that case. Just know that. Know when there are multiple paths to the same destination, how OSPF calculates the path cost, and how it chooses the reliable path. Just know that, okay? How the OSPF calculates the metric value simply. Know about the route ID election, the broadcast concept, the P2P. As I said before, when you use the P2P link, the OSPF will behave differently. And the fourth concept is IP services. It contains 10% of questions. Know about the NAT configuration, how you will configure the NAT, the router, and DHCP, DNS, SNMP. These are the protocols that you need to know. You can lab how to SSH your network devices. It will teach you something, because we need to add the domain name and the host name in order to create the private and public key pair. So based on that only SSH works. So just know about those fundamental concepts. And the next is security fundamentals. For example, DHCP snooping and dynamic ARP inspection. What sort of attacks unleashed by the attackers in the network, and how these DHCP snooping and dynamic ARP inspection technologies act against those attacks. You have to know that. You might get some tricky questions from the port security. Make sure what are all the port security violation modes, and in which case those violation modes will be activated. And you can learn the fundamental things about the threats, vulnerabilities, about the firewalls, authentication, site-to-site VPN, and one more thing is access control list, ACL. Definitely you will get few questions from the topic, because ACL is the topic from which you may get some tricky questions. So the ACL questions can easily deceive you, so don't let that happen. And try to know about the difference between authentication, authorization, and accounting, because I had questions in the topic. So know about authentication, authorization, and accounting. Authentication decides who has to access particular resource, and authorization defines the set of privileges that the user has, and the accounting, it simply records what are all the actions taken by the user. And the Wi-Fi technologies, these are all the wireless security technologies. So just know basics about those technologies. Configure WLAN using WPA to PSK with GUI. If you get an opportunity to access the WLC, try to lab it, so it will be very useful during the examination. And the last and final topic is automation and programmability. It is the future. So in the CCNA, they simply embraced this automation topic. They didn't get into depth. There were some theoretical questions. Just know about those basic theories. Know about the APIs, the REST APIs, what is northbound and what is southbound APIs, what is DNA controller, and what is REST API, and overlay, underlay, and fabric network. So These are all the terms of controller based networking, which is completely different from the previous chapter, the previous traditional networking. So this controller based networking will be totally different. Of course, it is based on the traditional networking. Without traditional networking, the controller networking is not possible, but controller based networking is totally different because it takes some different approach in networking. And the JSON is a data serialization language. So it's a kind of language which is understandable by human beings, also which is easily understandable by the all programming languages. So that is why it is called as data serialization languages. Just know about that. And the last topic is the Puppet, Chef, and Ansible. These are all the automation tools. The Ansible is most popular and widely used automation tool. Each method follows different approach to automate the things, and they also have some different terms, the different parameters. Just know about the parameters used in each automation tools. So this is all about the CCNA syllabus. This is all about the CCNA exam. I scrolled down the CCNA syllabus completely, and I realized they covered almost everything, almost every topic in those 104 questions. And it is going to be really useful for me in my career. Also, if you successfully achieve this certification, then no doubt you will get some good position and you will get some good recognition in your career. I managed to pass the CCNA exam. It doesn't mean I will stop posting CCNA contents in my YouTube channel, because I would love to help others who are preparing for CCNA exam. No more gap. You may expect frequent videos from me in my channel. Stay tuned for that. I hope this video will be helpful for the CCNA test takers. If it really does, consider subscribing my channel. You can also share this video with your friends who are preparing for CCNA, and don't forget to like the video. And yes, that's all I've got. I'll see you again with another exciting content. Until then, take care of yourself and bye.